Here are today's top stories. President Duterte submits a proposed 3.75 trillion peso national budget for 2019. Associate Justice Lucas Bersamin formally accepts the nomination for Chief Justice. Local markets bounce back following President Duterte's SONA. And Jordan Clarkson and the Rain or Shine team are selected as the core for the Gilas pool to the Asian Games. Good day. I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. President Rodrigo Duterte has submitted to Congress a proposed 2019 national budget worth 3.75 trillion pesos. Duterte said in a message that the national budget seeks to boost the government's efforts to effectively and efficiently build a bright future for the Filipino people. The House of Representatives received the proposed national budget on Monday. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says Duterte has identified key budget priorities for next year. These include intensifying infrastructure development, expanding programs on human development, building a more secure and peaceful nation, and other select major social programs. The budget represents a 13% increase from the current year's appropriations of over 3 trillion pesos. The education sector remains a top recipient with a total budget of over 650 billion pesos. The autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao will have its own allocation of some 32 billion pesos. Malacanang has expressed readiness to work with new House of Representatives Speaker Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. The former president was one of the staunchest supporters of Duterte in the 2016 elections. Arroyo replaced ousted Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez in a day-long leadership row that delayed Duterte's third State of the Nation address on Monday. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said he did not anticipate the House leadership change, but he noticed that the president was visibly concerned about the calls of Alvarez for a no-election scenario related to federalism. Alvarez is the Secretary General of Duterte's political party, PDP Laban. The consultative committee drafting the federal constitution has answered questions from critics on how regions will sustain themselves under a federal government. Miguel Hill has this report.
The consultative committee, which drafted the proposed federal constitution, has spelled out the sources of revenues for the federated regions amid questions raised by some of the charter's critics. CONCOM spokesperson Ding Generoso says that federated regions shall have the power to levy and collect taxes, licenses, and fees, including local taxes and other taxes which may be granted by federal law. He also allayed fears that giving federated regions taxation powers would result in double taxation. Federated regions shall also be given a share of not less than 50% of all the revenues from income tax, excise taxes, value-added taxes, and customs duties. Generoso explained further that there will be an equalization fund which shall not be less than 3% of the annual General Appropriations Act. Meanwhile, regions can also get their revenue from the annual General Appropriations Act. Finally, federated regions are also entitled to 50% of all net revenues derived from the exploration, development, and utilization of all natural resources within their territory. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
Supreme Court Associate Justice Lucas Bersamin has accepted the nomination for the country's top judiciary post. This was confirmed by Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara, an ex officio member of the Judicial and Bar Council, or JBC. Under the rules, while the 5 most senior justices are automatically nominated for the Chief Justice post, they still have to formally accept the nomination to be officially considered as nominee or applicant. Aside from Bersamin, the 4 other senior justices are Acting Chief Justice Antonio Carpio, Associate Justice Presbiterio Velasco Jr., Teresita Leonardo de Castro, and Diosdado Peralta. Velasco and de Castro are mandated to retire in August and October respectively. Carpio, who voted against the granting of the quo warranto petition, declined his nomination as ousted Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno's replacement out of delicadeza. The JBC has set its first deliberation for the Chief Justice post on August 3, a week after the deadline for the submission of applications and nominations for the post on July 26. The intended creation of the Department of Disaster Management mentioned in President Duterte's State of the Nation address will depend on the actions of Congress. NDRRMC Executive Director Ricardo Halad says the creation of the new department is unlikely to be accomplished this year. Halad explains that the creation of the DDM has been suggested since 2015 due to the need for a separate department that will focus on disasters. He says the establishing of the DDM will be able to act independently and speed up disaster response and management activities. The current Office of Civil Defense lacks power as it is only a bureau under the Department of National Defense, which needs to coordinate with other government agencies. Still to come, local markets bounce back following President Duterte's SONA. The British Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines praises President Duterte's push for the Ease in Doing Business Act. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
About 2 years ago, I solemnly took my oath as a worker of the national government. I was inspired to institute real changes for the greater good of the Filipino people.
Susuporta ba kayo kay President Duterte? Mahal natin ang bansang Pilipinas! Mabuhay ang Pilipinas! Mabuhay ang Pilipinas! Mabuhay ang Pilipinas!
Kaya po, sana po, obligahin natin ang isa't isa na kapag may magandang balita tungkol sa gobyerno, dapat po ay sinasabi natin sa ating mga kababayan.
Sa sandaling panahon pa lamang ay marami nang nagawa si Presidente Digong.
Sabi ko po sa itong taon nitong ginawa ng Duterte, itong taon nito, at least tapos bawasan yung mga adik. At naniniwala naman ako marami pa naman siya magagawa sa ating bansa.
May mga mataas na katungkulan na sangkot din sa droga. Unti-unti na po nawawala. Maganda po ang rating ng ating Pangulo ngayong taon na to.
Sa tingin ko naman lahat ay nasisya ng mga tao, maliban na lamang doon sa against sa ating Pangulo. Pero sa magandang ginagawa ng ating Pangulo at sa pagbabago, tingin ko naman nagiging maganda at maayos.
Ang masasabi ko lang po sa Pangulo po natin ngayon, kasi napababa niya na po yung mga kriminalidad, na ang dami na po mga nahuling mga may nagdodroga, yung mga drug pusher, marami na po siyang natulungan.
Local markets recovered partially from their slumps on Tuesday as President Duterte's State of the Nation address inspired a positive outlook on the economy. More on this from Miguel Hill.
Positive sentiments on President Rodrigo Duterte's statements in his third State of the Nation address lifted both the Philippine Stock Exchange Index and the peso Tuesday. Jonathan Ravelas, Chief Market Strategist of BDO Unibank, said that Duterte's comments could provide a catalyst for equities to bounce. He added that his speech showed that the current administration's programs intend to really support the potential growth of the economy. The president, in his speech, stressed his administration's commitment for the passage of the train law. Duterte is hopeful to sign the second tax reform package aimed at cutting corporate income tax rates, before the end of this year, citing that this will be beneficial to small businesses and workers in the industry. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
Government agencies are pursuing the implementation of a one-form application process following President Duterte's orders to cut down red tape. Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez, as part of implementing ease of doing business, they plan to push towards further streamlining and automation. He said several government agencies dealing with businesses shall review their forms and come up with a common information field and adopt a common form. These offices will include the Department of Trade and Industry, Securities and Exchange Commission, Bureau of Internal Revenue, as well as PhilHealth, Social Security System, and Pag-ibig Fund. The trade chief said they are looking to implement the unified application form within the year. The British Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines has praised the government's efforts to make the delivery of services to the business sector more accessible through the Ease of Doing Business Act. In his third State of the Nation address, Duterte said that the law is a significant fight against corruption and improving service delivery. Chairman Chris Nelson says President Duterte's reference to the ease of doing business is supported by their chamber and other chambers and the Department of Trade and Investment. He explains that one of the main questions of British companies during the presentations here is the ease of doing business. The Technical Skills and Development Authority, or TESDA, will soon offer skills training intended for tambay or loiterers in Region 9. Newly installed Region Director Efren Piñol says among the skills training they could avail of include metal arch welding, plumbing, baking, housekeeping, caregiving, carpentry, masonry, and others. Jobless residents will be trained and given the livelihood starter kits to enable them to be either employed or self-employed and earn a living. 22 barangay chairpersons in Titay Town, Zamboanga, Sibugay have surrendered 51 loose firearms to local police. The surrendered firearms consisted of improvised shotguns, handguns, and a grenade. Residents have been advised to surrender all unregistered firearms to maintain peace and order in their towns. Up next, Jordan Clarkson and the Rain or Shine team are selected as the core for the Gilas pool to the Asian Games. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Kaya lang naman may kaguluhan dahil yung mga iba dyan ayaw tumigil sa paggawa ng kalokohan. Kung ikaw ang manantahan ng natural, ang gusto mo puro kaayusan. Kaya pag may magulo, pinapalo. Kumbaga sa tatay, namamalo yan.
Suporta po kami kay Duterte sa buong taon na pakikibaka namin at pakikisama namin sa kanya. Nakikita namin ang pagbabago at tagumpay ng mga bawat Pilipino at makikita natin kung ano yung mga unti-unting administrasyon na ginagawa niya para sa ating lahat.
Go! Go, Pangulo! Okay ang performance mo, ituloy mo ang ginagawa mo.
If you think that I can be dissuaded from continuing this fight because of our demonstrations, your protest, which I find the way misdirected, then you got it all wrong. Your concern is human rights. Mine is human lives.
Kaya Pangulo, sana Panginoon, bigyan mo ng maganda at maayos na kalusugan ng ating Pangulo at bigyan mo pa siya ng pagkakataon na makapaglingkod at may salin pa niya ang magaganda para sa ating mamamayan.
Sana huwag siyang bibitaw bilang Pangulo ng Pilipinas.
kung maari nga humaba pa ang kanyang termino.
I do the very best I know how, the very best I can, and I mean to keep doing so until the end. If the end brings me out all right, what has been said against me won't amount to anything. But if the end brings me out wrong, 10 angels of God swearing that as I was right would make no difference.
Suspected terrorists have released an army auxiliary that they kidnapped in exchange for food. The 402 Brigade identified the victim as Eusebio Meñado, a municipal tribal chieftain from Carmen, Surigao del Sur, assigned at the San Roque Patrol Base in Barangay San Roque, Madrid town. Meñado was abducted in his home by suspected members of the Guerrilla Point Committee 30 of the New People's Army. Local officials arranged for his release after the NPA demanded ransom in the form of a few kilos of meat, fish, coffee, and sugar. Brigadier General Franco Nemesio Gacal, commander of the 402nd Brigade, assured that the military will continue pursuing the terrorists. Former Los Angeles Lakers star Jordan Clarkson could suit up for Gilas in the Asian Games in Jakarta, Indonesia this August. The 6'5" NBA guard is listed in the 18-man pool submitted by the Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas. Clarkson was part of the trade package that was sent to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Isaiah Thomas, and Clarkson eventually made it to the NBA Finals last season. Should the SBP secure the clearance from the Cavaliers, Clarkson will become a vital figure in the Asian Games lineup. The PBA's Rain or Shine squad was also designated as the nucleus of Gilas Asian Games squad. The decision was made following the suspension by FIBA of 4 talk and text players for up to 5 international games after their participation in the brawl against Australia. The Elastopainters finished on top of the team standings after the Commissioner's Cup eliminations at 9 wins and 2 losses, only to fall to Ginebra in the semi-finals. And at this point, the News and Information Bureau under the Presidential Communications Operations Office, or PCOO, is celebrating its 31st anniversary. Here is Rom Dulfo to tell us more.
They say change is inevitable and progress is impossible without change. Now in its 31st year, the News and Information Bureau embraced change and will continue to rise to new challenges. The old has gone, the new has come.
Under the new administration, maraming challenges ang hinarap ng News and Information Bureau, especially so nung 2 years ago, na maraming changes and reforms na kailangang ma-implement sa ahensya. Mahirap para sa empleyado na halos karamihan ay mga 30 years na halos kasabayan na nila yung NIB na nagse-celebrate ngayon ng 31st year. Marami talagang challenges dahil na-stuck sila doon sa kanilang mga the usual na ginagawa sa pag-fulfill ng mandato ng NIB. Sabi nga sa ating our theme is very apt, keeping up with the change. So kailangan sumabay na tayo sa trends. Hindi pwedeng Jurassic pa yung ating mga pamamaraan. Kailangan i-innovate para mas maging relevant ang existence ng NIB.
First of all, marami na na-achieve ang News and Information Bureau sa ilalim ng pamumuno ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Number one, ang PNA ay tinatangkilik na ng napakaraming local newspapers, local radio stations at international news agencies. So as a general source of information, meron ka ng Philippine News Agency na maganda po yung presensya. Number two, nandyan po yung patuloy na pag-improve ng inyong division na nangalap ng impormasyon. Ito po yung nagmo-monitor ng news para po sa ating mahal na Pangulo. Okay na po tayo dyan. Nasa social media na rin po kayo. Number three, pagdating po naman dun sa news analysis na kailangan natin dito po sa Malacanang, ay nag-step up na rin po ang News and Information Bureau.
More than physical improvement, NIB Director Gigi Agday also ensures that everybody is recognized, empowered, and aligned in fulfilling the company's vision. That is to become a reliable source of news and information. Various workshops and self-development seminars are held for the benefit of everybody.
Actually, 2 years ago, talagang yung clamor from the employees themselves na magkaroon ng mga training and skills development. Kasi matagal nga silang napabayaan, hindi masyadong nakita yung importansya ng mga skills development na to. So we started with all these trainings. Through this, we keep up, we deliver, and we make sure that on time, yun yung importante, timely, accurate, at relevant yung aming napoprovide.
Each department continuously upholds quality service, committed to provide efficient, effective, productive, and economical services relating to the development and formulation of domestic and foreign information program for the government and the presidency.
Marami na tayong mga problema na sabay-sabay natin hinarap, mga issues na sabay-sabay din tayong apektado. Kailangan patuloy tayo na magtrabaho. We should be able to achieve perfection by always practicing what is right. Let us work together para mas lalo po tayong maging accurate sa mga sinasabi natin.
The News and Information Bureau will remain steadfast, empowered, trustworthy, and restructured in providing quality daily news services relevant to the projects, policies, and activities of the government and the presidency.
And then aside from that, of course, is yung mas strengthen o ma-nurture pa yung passion at commitment sa government service ng mga empleyado. Tulad nga, sabi nga ni Presidente Duterte na that he refers to government employees as government workers. So as government workers, kailangang magserbisyo ng buong puso.
News and Information Bureau, tatak ng pagbabago.
A tropical depression spotted east of northern Luzon is unlikely to enter the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR. Pagasa says the tropical depression, which is moving north-northwest at 10 kilometers per hour, will not hit the country. However, monsoon rains are still expected due to the storm's pull on the southwest monsoon towards Visayas and Mindanao. Pagasa said monsoon rains will prevail over Zambales, Bataan, Cavite, Batangas, Mindoro, and Palawan, where possible flooding and landslides due to moderate to at times heavy rains could occur. Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Here's another look at today's top stories. President Duterte submits the proposed 3.75 trillion peso national budget for 2019. Associate Justice Lucas Bersamin formally accepts the nomination for Chief Justice. Local markets bounce back following President Duterte's SONA. And Jordan Clarkson and the Rain or Shine team are selected as the core for the Gilas pool to the Asian Games. Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And remember, gratitude is always a better choice than griping and complaining. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.